Hardy thinks the PFL may have a suitable opponent on the books for the problem child. It would appear that Dan Hardy is on board with the idea of PFL star Cédric Doumbé welcoming YouTuber-turned-boxer Jake Paul to the cage. Paul has risen to prominence in combat sports courtesy of his efforts in the ring. The Cleveland native has built a professional record of 11-1 that's largely comprised of wins over aging MMA veterans. Most recently, he got the better of 58-year-old boxing great Mike Tyson for Netflix's controversial first entry into the fight game. Following that, the problem child has continued to boast big aspirations, once again vowing to become a world champion and calling out the likes of Canelo Álvarez. And with that, past talk of an MMA transition has quietened. Paul previously looked close to a first cage appearance after signing with the Professional Fighters League at the start of 2023. During a recent interview with Bloody Elbow, Hardy, a former UFC title challenger and the head of fighter operations for PFL Europe, pondered the polarizing ex-Disney star's potential MMA arrival. "I was excited about the idea that Jake Paul would have a go at mixed martial arts. And I thought to myself he's going to come to MMA with the same energy. We know he's got a wrestling background as well," Hardy said. "He's in a weird situation, isn't he? Because who do you match him up against?" Talk of Paul's debut in the sport most recently returned to the surface when former Glory kickboxing champ Cédric Doumbé included him on the list of possible 2025 opponents while addressing the crowd in Lyon at the PFL Europe Championship event this month. In the eyes of Hardy, the Frenchman is a realistic opponent option for Paul. Cédric Doumbé had mentioned a few different people he would fight, and Jake Paul was on the list. Doumbé's got a great kickboxing background, but he only has a few fights in MMA. And he's a striker, so he's not going to want to grapple with Jake Paul, Hardy continued. Doumbé's a bit older, but he's definitely smaller. That could be a good one. Even in boxing, I think Cédric Doumbé versus Jake Paul would be a lot of fun. There remains no timeline on an MMA venture for Paul, whose most recent tease regarding a combat sports assignment explicitly mentioned the boxing realm once again. Doumbé, meanwhile, is seemingly eyeing up a rematch with Bassangor Baki Chamsaudinov after the controversial end to their headline clash in Paris earlier this year.